Hello lovelies, and welcome to the doll room, and welcome back if you are returning. So today I want to do a VR to the wondrous Kada. Now, recently I watched Kada do a video where she unboxed some of her early childhood toys, and it was a fantastic Barbie swimming pool. I really enjoyed watching Kada get lost in the nostalgia of discovering a childhood toy, and in that video she posed the question to the viewers: do you track down any of your childhood toys? What toys are you tracking down? Have you found any? Now, I know that Kada, there was a camper that she tracked down, and the pool, and I think, was it a doll's house? I think she had 3 things she was tracking down. I'll link Kada's videos below, they're really amazing. And I wanted to do a VR to reply to the question that she posed: what childhood toys are you tracking down? Now, as far as fashion dolls go, it's a picture I'm trying to track down. I don't know whether I've got it or a long estranged family member has got it, but I can remember a picture somewhere of me dancing with a Barbie doll. When I was little, I only had one Barbie doll, and that would have been pre our big move to the countryside. So it was pre being 7 years old, and I was born in 68, so it would have been an early 70s or late 60s Barbie, and I cannot remember for the life of me which one it was. I can remember buying it, I can remember the shop, and that is a story for a whole nother video. But I still haven't tracked down that photo. I think that's going to be my best chance at getting a clue for the Barbie. But then, apart from that one Barbie and the photograph, there are a smattering of other childhood toys that went onto my list to track down. Probably the most important and the first one I found was this Mattel, I think this is a 1968 or 1970 Bean Baby, and this is Biffy, but I never called him Biffy, I called him Blue Boy, and I carried him everywhere up until the age of 7 when we moved to the countryside, and none of my toys reappeared. I think they all got thrown away. Although I was only 7 years old, we were moving from a big flat over a series of shops that we owned to a complete derelict countryside house where my dad spent years rebuilding it, and we lived in a caravan in the garden for years. So there would have been no space for toys, and that kind of explains why the toys never made it in the house move. Now, one day when I was trying to remember what my childhood toys were, because I'd lost all recollection of them, I was scrolling through Google 1960s, 1970s toys, and a doll with a face like this came up, dressed in pink, and I knew immediately that I recognised the face. I had a full body visceral reaction to the face, but I knew it wasn't my toy. Once I got the name of what they were, which is Mattel Baby Beans, I think they are, then I put that into eBay, and it wasn't long before this one came up, and I gasped, immediately burst into tears, and remembered Blue Boy, and a whole avalanche of memories came through about carrying Blue Boy everywhere with me. And it was my Christmas present to myself that year, was to replace him. Blue Boy is the first childhood toy I've replaced. I've since bought him his own little Bagpuss toy, which I found thrifting because Bagpuss was my favourite childhood show. So yeah, Blue Boy, really, really special. And doll that I managed to track down, I had a remembrance of going to the seaside for the day with my mum and my dad, which was a rare occurrence because my dad was always working. And I can remember the car nearly being swept away on the beach and us having to run down the front, and then being asked if I wanted to choose a toy for the day, and hanging up outside one of those beach shops with like beach balls and inflatables, there were these Luby L dolls. So this is a Luby L long stockings doll. And I can remember my mum trying to talk me out of it, and I wouldn't. I just really wanted this Luby L doll, and I had it. The memories come in like long forgotten mist for me. I just suddenly started to get this memory of this Luby L doll. I thought in my mind she was an inflatable doll, like a blow up doll, which sounds all shades of wrong, but you know what I mean. I thought it was like one of the inflatables that you got in the shop. But when I searched vintage Luby L dolls, a load of these came up, which I immediately recognised. A lot came up in red dresses, but I could remember this blue dress with 2 white ribbons going across, because I used to sit and fiddle with these 2 strips of ribbon, and I had this memory, and I thought, no, it's a blue dress with 2 ribbons. And eventually one came up on eBay, and I knew immediately that it was her, but she was in the most awful state. Now, I made the huge mistake of washing her without getting the straw stuffing out, and whatever is inside her started to mark the fabric. So that was a huge mistake, and the straw does not smell good. So what I am going to have to do with her is a real makeover, really. I don't want to remake the body, but I will if I have to. But I definitely need to get the straw out of her body and restuff her. While the straw's out, I'm going to have another go at cleaning this fabric. I would like to use her to embroider onto and have her like a nostalgia story, almost like a healing piece, because there is a lot of family wounding that I have to heal, and sometimes for me nostalgia, sometimes it feels really grounding, like trying to grab onto some of the memories that aren't painful to kind of reroute myself, which is what these dolls are doing. But also it can sometimes feel a bit toxic nostalgia to me. So I thought, once I get her body sorted, because she is in a little bit of a mess, and my childhood was quite a bit of a mess, then I could use her to embroider messages to myself about healing on. Also the hair was almost black. It looked like it had been covered with oil. I have managed to get some of it out, but not all. You can see it's still quite dirty, so this is still ongoing renovation work for me. To find the very Luby L doll in the blue dress was so special, and we will see over this coming year just how well I managed to restore her back to her former glory, or if not better. Right, the next doll that I managed to track down, when I was a little girl, I absolutely loved being in the Brownies, and I got bought this Brownie doll, and I can remember her so clearly. This is a Burbank doll, and again I managed to track her down with her shoes and her socks and with her hat and with everything there. Her face is a little bit dented in sometimes if you catch her from the side at the wrong angle, but to get her with her shoes as well, which is what I wanted, because I can really remember loving the shoes on this doll, was amazing. Now when she came to me, she needed a good clean. Her hair all was needing a good clean, so she is restored back to her former glory. I just think she's wonderful, and it was just lovely to get her back. The other 2 dolls that were similar to this, I had a Baby Alive, a vintage Baby Alive, the first time they were ever brought out, the very first one, which I loved. And I had a teeny tiny tears, not a tiny tears, a teeny tiny tears. So those are also on my wish list of childhood toys to claim back. But for now, I'm just super pleased that I've got my Brownie doll back. So those are the 3 toys that I found so far. I think the one that I would most love to find is a clown, the Mattel talking pull string clown toy, Bozo the clown toy, which I got, I think, probably from my Christmas when I was about 6 years old, and I also loved it so much. I found a video recently on YouTube of one restored and talking, and I played it for my son, and he laughed because I was shouting out all the words the toy was saying before it could even say it. The memory was so clear. They're very hard to find. Working, it's almost impossible to find one working. In England, they're almost impossible to find. I so wish that those toys hadn't been thrown away. So Bozo the clown is definitely top of the list at the moment. And that brings me to this box, because I have just had delivered another find. So we've still got outstanding Bozo the clown, we've still got outstanding Baby Alive and Teeny Tiny Tears. This was the other outstanding toy that I hadn't managed to track down until recently, completely out of the blue. I remembered it again and just went to eBay in the middle of the day and put in Kewpie doll, and up popped the very Kewpie doll that I'd been searching for. So we're going to open this together. So all I could remember one birthday when I was about 5, opening up a Kewpie doll, a plastic Kewpie doll, because I could remember that wonderful smell of plastic, in a pink check dress, and I really remember the dress and I loved it so much. This doll, along with Luby L and Blue Boy, were my very favourites, and I just couldn't believe it. Just I don't know what made me go to eBay that day, but when I looked, I just couldn't believe it. She was there. Oh my gosh, I remember this so well. This is so wonderful to get her back in her original outfit. So it was this one, this size, in this outfit. I was finding Kewpie dolls, but in not kind of this size, and definitely not in original outfits. But the outfit was important because I can remember loving it so much, and doing the bows up and taking it off and washing her and putting her little dress back on, and just completely loving her. So that is wonderful. I can't believe I've got Blue Boy and Pink Girl back again. Oh, talk about a blast from the past. That is completely wonderful. So nostalgia and toys from our past, it's got a huge pull, hasn't it? And I know for those of us that are older in the community, it's just, I think it's really special when you do manage to track down a vintage toy that's been long forgotten for decades. And I think it's funny what triggers the toys to jump into our minds as well. They're long forgotten for decades, and all of a sudden you get a remembrance. It was like that with Bozo the clown. It woke me up. I just had a remembrance of the white circle pull string and the little puller at the end, and it just woke me up, and just this image of me pulling this string, and I thought, what was that from? And then I suddenly remembered this clown toy, and I put into eBay vintage talking clown toy, and up it popped. And yeah, it's just amazing how these memories live on in our minds somewhere. So anyway, my Pink Girl is my latest tracked down childhood toy. I am definitely going to have to find a special display for all of these childhood toys, probably not in the doll room, probably in my bedroom. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I really enjoyed sharing. I'll link all of Kada's videos down below, and join in. You do a VR to Kada as well, and I'd love to know what your childhood toys are too. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time in the doll room. Bye.